There we are.
Welcome everybody. This is our third Fireside chat. We find ourselves here at Ravenwood in the Stockholm area. Sherry and Gunilla of Global Collaboration of Light. Hello everybody. Okay, we've been asked many times, how did we start our spiritual journey or our intuitive abilities? When did they start? So we're going to talk about that today. Gunilla?
Yeah, well, as I remember, my spiritual journey started in my early 20s because that was when I was aware that I was spiritual. Now when I am 50, I know that I have been on a spiritual journey my whole life, and I have seen things and known things and felt things or energies my whole life. So that is quite a long journey, but a funny one. What about you? When did it start for you, Sherry?
When I was a little girl, I had the ability to make myself large or small when I went to bed in that state between sleep and awake. I could make myself as big as the whole world, and then I would get a little bit scared and say, I want to come back, and I'd come back. And then I could make myself as tiny as the head of a pin. And, ooh, I feel so tiny. I want to come back. And I'd come back. I remember that I did that often at night when I felt like it, when I was in this state. And it just felt very familiar to me that I could do this. The other thing was I had prophetic dreams when I was in my teens. I remember one time I dreamed about a pair of yellow shoes, and I'm a little bit of a shoe freak. So I dreamed about these gorgeous yellow shoes, and my mother and I went shopping to my favorite shoe store, and there they were. And I said, I have to have those shoes. She didn't agree with me, so I never got them. But that was the beginning of recognizing that I can dream, and then there it is in my abilities. Also had a dream that many times, which was a little bit sad, where I would ride on this huge train. They had an actual locomotive in Philadelphia at a museum of natural history of all places. You would get on the locomotive and ride back and forth. And the next step of that was that I would be at the Hoover Dam in the west, and the spillways would be there, which are terrifying. They're so big. And I would stand in front of them. One was for good people and one was for bad people.
Okay.
And I would stand in front of these spillways, and I would always stand in front of the bad people one first. And no, the good people one first, that's right. And pray to be taken down into the good people one. But I would never be taken into the good people one.
Oh.
So I'd move to the bad people one.
Oh.
And I'd be sucked right down. So it tells you a little bit something about my self-worth issues.
Yeah. Oh.
But anyway, I also remember being very, very sensitive to how people were feeling. So the empathy started, the empathic ability certainly started there. And it was quite an interesting journey. The other thing that feels very important in my life, but it was when I was 49 years old, was I had met my partner Anders, and I was coming to Sweden to decide about us. We had met in the United States. And I knew something big was going to happen, but I didn't know what it was. Big. And so I prepared myself with, oh, who will fix my house and who will take care of my things? And I took all my important documents with me, and lo and behold, I stayed in Sweden, which was the next part of my journey, which I could never in my mind have imagined. But thankfully, it all worked with Anders, my life's partner, and Gunilla, my other life's partner, with Global Collaboration of Light. So, yes.
Wow.
Anything else, Gunilla?
Well, I was thinking while you were talking that our journeys in the spiritual way is so different. Because I remember my childhood that I have always felt everything. I have felt what the people around me were feeling, what they were thinking, and I thought that was how everyone was functioning. So I felt so much that made me nervous often, and afraid and scared and really cautious and on my guard because I felt so much. And then on the other hand, I saw the people around me, they didn't even blink. They didn't even recognize the feelings
Wow.
or feeling them. And I thought, okay, so the feelings that I am feeling, that I thought if everyone else were feeling, those are not something that you should acknowledge or even think about, because no one else are doing it. So I suppressed them and put them somewhere inside my body and didn't feel good about it. But I kept growing up, being an adult, and then all of a sudden it hit me like, oh, everyone is not like I am. Well, most people are not. So they are not feeling so much. They are not knowing so much or sensing so much that I am. So I didn't understand that until I was like 25 or something. So when I started to understand that I was a little bit different, and there are so many people out there that are like me, then the healing abilities and capacities that I have started to show themselves.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And so I started dreaming more and more and more, because that is one of my abilities, that I dream a lot, and I get so much messages through my dream state, and I also heal the collective consciousness.
Yes, you do.
While I
Definitely.
dream. So now I appreciate it, and I really love the way I am and how I operate.
Yeah.
But that took a while. Now I'm 50, so it took like 25 years to develop this.
Wow.
And refine it and see it as an asset, not just a burden, because it is a burden sometimes to feel what other people are feeling and thinking of me or you or anyone else. It's hard.
Sure.
The solar plexus are like vibrating all the time of all the feelings.
Absolutely.
So, but now it's an asset.
Absolutely.
Now
And
I
then,
like
of
my
course, when we met each other, I mean, it's like, oh, wow, a soul connection. There you go. And you can feel it in your heart. And wow, we have to do something with this.
Yeah.
It's like when I met Anders. Whoa.
Yeah.
You know, something, okay,
You
something's
just
here.
know.
You know, you just know. So anyway, hope that answers some of your questions, and maybe you can ponder your own abilities, because we're all spiritual.
Yeah.
We
all have abilities,
yes,
of course.
we all have
We all do.
abilities. We all have healing abilities, and we'd love to work with you. We work in a very unique way. Two of us work together always,
Yes.
and we hold the energies between us that are very balanced with divine masculine and feminine. and we go into a different reality of our I am presence, both of us contacting your higher self, and we work from that place with soul healing.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else about the website, or?
Yeah, we are working on our website. We have a website, but now we are trying to update it. But we are not so technically.
No.
We are technically challenged.
Yes,
That's how we are putting it. So we are getting there, but we are not finished yet. But you are very welcome to visit the website anyway, of course, because all the information are there. We are just adjusting it a little bit.
Yes,
And,
exactly.
yeah.
And it's globalcollaborationoflight.com. You can also visit our Facebook page where we list more like our global light work, where we work with a worldwide situation or endangered animals or, you know, whatever that comes to us that we need to address, Julian Assange, etc.
Yeah.
And there we have our specials, contact information, etc., or perhaps quotes or words that are wise that fit with what we do. So we really hope that you will contact us. We'd love to meet you and work with you. Thank you.
And we will put our contact information below. So
Yes, we will. Thank you.
thank you.
We'll see you later
Bye.
for our next Fireside Chat. Bye.